He's still in cousins. What time is it? What time is it? It's horror time. But it's horror time. Yep. KFC horror stories? I had to scratch my arm because what could y'all do at KFC? I think I've done a KFC one. Or it was Popeyes and they were pitting some they was like pitting crack in the chicken. Had them people into crackheads. They was feeding for that shit, fighting, scratching, looking wild. On that note, let's see what the other is then. Like the video. If you're watching the video, please, please, please like the video. Even if you click it for 2 seconds. If you only watch up to here, just like the video, please. Comment if you want to. You ain't got to, but comment. Because why not? And then share. And you should already be subscribed because we are family and that's what family do. Right? Right. If it was vice versa, I would support you. Right? Right. All right. Let's get into it. As long as we're all on the same page. You know, I love y'all. Y'all love me. Let's get into it.
During the winter of 2015, widespread manifestations and protests erupted near my home in Portland, Oregon. I'd completed 3 semesters in Portland University, and already I was used to these kinds of congregations. I admired their passion and drive, though this time the multitude was protesting my work of employment, KFC. I drove into the parking lot for my day shift, unable to find a spot because of the bustling scene that had developed. A large crowd with megaphones and large cardboard signs stood around the restaurant, chanting rhythmic jingles and slogans. "Fried chicken is murder," one sign read. A man wearing a ludicrously large Colonel Sanders outfit held a large banner that read, "KFC, Kentucky Fried Cruelty." He chanted loudly, advocating and promoting a vegan diet. I exited my car, slightly annoyed, lowered my head and walked towards the door. Immediately, a group crowded me, shouting obscenities and cramming flyers to my face. As a petite female, I feared for my safety. I pushed people away and screamed firmly, "Look, I just work here. I don't even like fried chicken. I just need the work to continue school." Most weren't satisfied with my statement, but as the crowd hesitated momentarily, I rushed inside. The shift was generally slow. Not many customers were willing to face the mob that stood between them and a bucket of chicken. By sundown, our restaurant closed, and most of the protesters left. I finished my cleaning duties, locked up, and headed for my car. A few stragglers chanted something at me, but I waved them off dismissively. On the windshield of my car were pamphlets, flyers, and pictures of cute baby chicks with the caption, "Friends, not food." I tossed them in my car and drove off, ready for a night full of homework. Usually protest around here lasts a few days, a week or 2 at most, but not this time. The Colonel had struck a chord with this group, and they seemed to grow more relentless every passing. Their crowds grew and their chants loudened. Every day the trip from my car to the restaurant grew in annoyance. The crowding and chanting I encountered during their first day grew into shoves and obscenities. The flyers and pictures of baby chicks evolved to threatening pamphlets. Everything culminated on the 3rd week of this manifestation, when leaving work a trio of protesters, each wearing chicken head masks, poured a bucket of red liquid on my car. I instantly called the police, but by the time they arrived, the culprits had fled. As they ran, they screamed back at me, "Blood for blood, how do you like it?" Their voices grew softer with the distance.
So much.
"Fuck you," I screamed at them. Things continued to worsen. The chanted obscenities became death threats. When I heard someone yell as I entered the restaurant, "Only with blood will they understand," I knew it was time. I marched straight into my manager's office and told him I didn't feel safe, and I would not be coming in until the situation cooled off. He agreed, apologized, and gave me time off. The next day, I was leaving campus after an afternoon of homework. I unlocked my car, sat down, and turned the ignition, only to notice something on the hood of my car. I got out. Along the front bumper, a row of 5 rubber chickens were taped together.
Over KFC?
A note was attached to the beak of one of them.
Y'all stalking her
"We
over some
know
damn
who
chicken?
you are." That's all it said. I tried to dismiss it, though it was difficult to accept that I was being targeted, even outside of work. I drove home, shaken up, arrived and decided to take my mind off of things with some television. But as I went to my apartment door, a note was taped over the peephole. "We also know where you live." Shit. Should I call the cops again? They weren't helpful the first time. Why would they be now? I entered but secretly clutched the pepper spray I had hidden in my purse at the beginning of this fiasco. I entered and was greeted to the sight of my apartment completely ravaged. It was as if a hurricane had passed straight through. My couches were knocked over. My coffee table was upside down. Glass from my picture frames was spread throughout the floor. Shreds of my throw-over blanket were scattered like ribbon. Papers and documents were in piles on the ground. But the worst sight was a layer of red liquid covered every surface of the apartment. I stood shocked at what I was seeing when the door clicked closed behind me. I jumped back and crashed into a large figure. The man wore black and a large novelty chicken mask. He grabbed me and restrained me easily and covered my mouth. He turned me towards the wreckage that was the apartment and gave a signal. From behind the knocked-over couch, 2 more figures arose, leaving their hiding spot. One wore a pig mask. The other wore a cow mask. The man that was restraining me said close to my ear. I muffled something over his hand that covered my mouth. He grew more agitated with every word. The 2 standing in the kitchen nodded, their animal masks agreeing with their brethren. Something close clicked near my ear. I tried to turn my head, but the man easily restrained me.
You gonna stab her because she worked at KFC?
He pulled a switchblade close to my face. He placed it flat against my face, the cold surface sending chills down my body. He moved it throughout slowly. He asked blankly. His last 3 words exploded in my ear. He flipped the knife and drew it close to my neck. I felt the sharp steel touch my skin.
Over chicken?
Pain erupted from my body as he began to pierce my skin. A warm sensation began to trickle down my neck, and I knew instantly blood had been drawn. Suddenly, the man's grip seized. It became entirely limp. The knife fell to the ground with a loud thud. Seconds later, his body fell straight down like a tower being demolished. I stared down and saw his body convulsing and thrashing wildly. Came a voice behind me. The 2 spectators in masks made a run for it, but soon 3 policemen were chasing them. They were also tased like their leader. A 4th cop touched my shoulder softly. At the police department, an investigator explained that other KFC employees had experienced similar break-ins. I simply hadn't heard because I hadn't been to work. After the 3rd one, cops were dispatched to all employee residences. They arrived in mine just in time.
Just in time.
I didn't work at KFC much longer. After this incident, the trauma was simply too much to bear and continued to work in a place that had almost killed me. I will forever be thankful to the police officers, and I will forever be more vigilant of protesters and manifestations, because you never know who may be targeting you specifically.
Y'all see
Hello,
what protesters
my name's
did to her?
Christopher. I'm 24 years old. When I was 19, I worked in KFC as a cashier. I needed some pocket money, and that's why I used to work there. I actually love that job. Now I'm a businessman, and I have my own business.
Okay.
So it was 9 a.m., and I had to go to the shop.
Get crazy.
I was in a hurry, as I was a little late. I live with my mom. My mom was watching the news on TV. It was being said in the news that a man who got away from a mental hospital had killed 3 people in the city, and everyone needs to stay away from him. I didn't pay much attention to the news. Mom, I'm going. I gotta go, I'm kinda late. Love you, bye.
Okay, love you too, son.
When I reached the shop, there was 1 boy and 2 girls on the staff. I saw a man who had just been hired as a cook working there. I didn't know his name yet. He was behaving very strangely, and I didn't find his actions right at all.
How I know that that's
I was
the
trying
killer.
to talk to him, but he didn't really want to make conversation. Hey man, what's your name? He just turned and ignored me. Dude, I'm talking to you. Again, ignored me.
Leave
So I
it
just
alone.
moved away from there. After 15 minutes, he finally came to me. My name's Denny. Finally, he said something. I was calling my manager Steve again and again, but Steve was not taking the call. And it was 10 a.m. and I had not seen him yet.
Stan?
He always came in early, but he was late that day
Steve?
and not even taking the call. I was at my cash counter. Actually, the thing was that yesterday, the chicken was over in the KFC kitchen. There were a lot of customers, and I was worried about what would happen. Denny came to me at the cash counter, said in a heavy voice, "Don't worry, all orders are ready." I was shocked. I mean, it was too fast for me. Chicken ran out last night, and now where did chickens come from to make the chicken fries? Well, I ignored it because I was too crowded at the restaurant. But that day, no one liked the chicken very much, and people were criticizing the taste of the chicken. Customers even left without finishing. I was not happy to see that. I thought that Denny was not a good cook. I'm going to talk to our manager Steve about it. It was 9:30 at night, and it was time to close up the shop at 10:30. I went to the kitchen. The door was locked. I knocked on it. Denny came to the door. "Yes, sir?" "Let me in, dude. And where are the other staff members?" "All the staff members have gone home. Only me and you left." "When did they go?"
Oh, he's
I didn't
killing
see them
people.
leave. "They left from the exit of the kitchen." I didn't know why Denny was repeatedly refusing me to come inside. I just didn't pay much
Because
attention.
he's been killing people
At
and
that
feeding
time, there were
people
only
people.
4 people in the restaurant who were waiting for their orders. Their names were Anna, Evan, Eddie, and Emily. I think it was Anna's birthday. Evan said, "Excuse me, when will we get our order? It's getting late." "Yes, sir. Only 15 minutes. So sorry for the delay." They were waiting for their order for a long time, but I had no idea what Denny was doing inside the kitchen. He was taking forever. I thought of going there to check. I had a spare key for the kitchen. I quietly went inside without informing him. When I went there, I was completely
Bodies.
terrified to see this scene. Denny was shocked to see me. What are you doing here?" "Oh, nothing, man. You carry on." The whole kitchen was destroyed and messed up. There was blood all over the kitchen and the fridge. The fridge in the kitchen kept opening. My manager's head was in it. Oh my God. I got goosebumps. I was dying in fear.
Get
I was
out.
numb. Denny said, "See? Someone killed our manager, Steve." Denny was covered in blood all over his clothes. Some bandages were also
No, he
tied in his
didn't.
hand. It was as if he had got cut in his hand while committing this murder. He took a big chopper and came to kill me. Then I saw the dead bodies of our staff members chopped into pieces. Some body parts weren't even there. Now I understood that Denny used the human body parts to make the KFC chicken. It
I
was
said that.
disgusting.
His nasty ass.
Die now. I threw the heavy plate on the table at him, but he was not feeling the pain at all. Outside the kitchen, they thought that there might have been a fight going on inside. Anna said,
What's going on inside the kitchen?
"Girls, you both wait here. We'll go back and check."
Why?
"Okay, let's go."
Please come soon. Okay, Eddie?
Back inside the kitchen, Evan and Eddie came to check, but the
Eddie's
kitchen
a
door was
big-
closed. They knocked. Denny, hearing their voices, hit me on the head so hard that I fainted there. At once. He didn't even let me say a single word. Evan was standing outside the kitchen. "Everything fine inside?" "Yes, sir." After this, there was silence for 15 minutes. Denny was quiet. After 15 minutes, the door opens. Evan and Eddie were frightened. There was no light inside the kitchen, and they slowly started moving inside the kitchen.
There.
Something hit Evan's leg. It was so dark that nothing was even known what it was. Someone turned on the light, and as soon as they saw it, his senses were blown away. "Oh my God, it's a man's head, with no eyes, as if someone had taken the eyes out." A voice came from the back. When they turned, they saw Denny. He had a small speaker in which a song was playing. A lady was singing. "You are my baby, come to me, hug me, I will give you much love."
No.
"Who are you, and what is this?" Danny didn't respond. They both understood that something was wrong. He must have killed all of them. I laid there unconscious for some moments. I don't know what happened to me, but as soon as I regained consciousness, I couldn't stand up. Then I saw Eddie was trying to call the police. Then suddenly, Denny cut off his hand with a sharp knife. His phone fell away near me. He was covered in blood. He screamed in pain, "Ah!" I closed my eyes because I was pretending to be unconscious at the time. He also saw me lying unconscious in the corner. All the doors were closed and there was only one way open. That was to the kitchen. And Denny was standing there. Eddie was bleeding heavily. He fainted. Evan started running. As soon as he started running away, he caught him too and put his hand on the table and cut off his 4 fingers. Evan yelled, "Ah, you bastard! Leave us! Leave us! Why are you doing this?
Yeah, I hit him with a
Jesus!" And he slammed him so tightly against the wall that he died there because of his head smashing against it. After 30 minutes, because I was pretending to be unconscious, that's why he thought I was. He proceeded to come kill me. I hit him again on the head with a big glass so that his head exploded. He fell there, but seemed right. He even laughed harder. Denny said, "I love it. Hit me, hit me." Seeing the opportunity, I ran out of the kitchen, saw the bodies of the 2 girls lying there. He had already killed both those girls also. The door was locked from all sides. Now I understand that nothing can happen now. He will kill me too. Ha 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 ha. Die, boy, now. I closed my eyes. I heard a gunshot. When I opened my eyes, I saw that my mom had arrived there with the police. Actually, when Eddie's phone fell near me and Denny was attacking Evan, I got a chance and I made a video call to my mom from his phone. In that video call, I showed Denny's face. My mom knew that this was the man who had run away from the mental hospital.
Alright.
Never thought I'd say this, but damn, I wish I watched that news.
Shut up. I told you to watch the damn news. Oh. That was over. Is that piece of
KFC is known for its finger-licking good fried chicken. I'm Liam, and my mom raised me as a single mom. And whenever we wanted to celebrate something, she always took me to KFC. I'm 17 now, and I got a job at my happy place to take care of my own expenses, so it would lighten the load for her. For the time, this place was filled with good memories. But one night, it became my worst nightmare. I usually work late on the weekends for some extra cash to save up for college. Gabe, the manager, who I've actually known since I was a little kid and got along with great, trusted me and Sasha to close up that night, and he had to leave early for some family emergency. Sasha was an older girl, and I had the biggest crush on her. So naturally, I was excited to be the only 2 closing up that night. She walked up and ruffled my hair with her hand.
Gabe has left me in charge of you for the night, so what I say goes.
Yes, ma'am, I smiled. She shoved me playfully, and we laughed as I got the headset to work the drive-thru. She snatched it from me.
Oh no, I'm taking the orders, you're filling them.
I didn't want to acknowledge it at the time, but something had shifted in her tone. She went from playful to bossy bitch. I suddenly had a bad feeling about working with her. I wasn't going to bother Gabe about it, and I really needed the money, so I decided to push it aside and do my best. I still wanted to impress her after all.
Her.
Due to it being late and us closing earlier than most fast food chains out there, it was really slow. Sasha started pissing me off, as she sat around and barked orders at me.
Mop the foyer.
I just did.
Mop it again.
Seriously?
Want me to tell Gabe how disrespectful you were?
I sighed and grabbed the mop. I looked around and noticed that the security cameras seemed to be turned off as the little red light wasn't on. That made my stomach drop, as I knew Sasha was the one to turn them off. I went to Gabe's office where Sasha was texting on her phone and giggling. You don't think Gabe is going to notice you turned off the cameras?
Please. Gabe doesn't even look at the cameras. We live in the safest area in town.
That doesn't mean something can't happen.
Hello.
Oh, was Widow William gonna tell on me?
I shook my head and left the office. She sat inside, giggling to herself. Whatever feelings I had for her were disappearing by the minute. I didn't get it. Sasha was normally sweet, and we had this ongoing flirtation that made me think I actually stood a chance with her when I turned 18. Tonight, she'd been acting like a cold monster, and I wondered if she was just showing off. But for who was the question? Little did I know, it was about to get a lot worse. Sasha started smacking me upside the head as hard as she could whenever she told me to do something. It hurt, but I kept myself together. I was raised that you didn't hit a woman. Sasha kept pushing her luck by resorting to kicking me. I shoved her away and she ran into the counter. What's your fucking problem? She looked at me baffled and scoffed.
I don't have a problem. You do.
You're assaulting me. If you don't stop, I'm gonna leave.
You think you get to leave tonight.
She flashed a sinister smile. I threw down the rag I was cleaning tables with. I don't think I'm leaving. I know I am.
Period.
I went to grab
Let
my
her
wallet
know.
and keys, and suddenly, something hit me in the back of the head,
Oh.
and everything went black.
Something or
I opened my
someone.
eyes
Who knows
sometime
that?
later. I could smell some fresh, hot chicken in front of me. I thought I saw my mom in front of me, and I smiled. But when my vision came into focus, I saw Sasha sitting across from me. I tried to move, but was tied to the chair.
Wakey, wakey. Tonight's your lucky night. I know you've had a crush on me. Now we get to eat some finger-licking good chicken together.
I looked down at the bucket of chicken in front of me, then back up at Sasha. I'm not eating chicken with you. She shook her head.
I'll hand feed it to you.
She grabbed what looked like a chicken tender and held it up to my mouth. I couldn't
Smells
deny
like a
that it
finger
smelled
bone.
amazing, and I was hungry after enduring hours of Sasha's shenanigans.
Go on, take a bite.
I opened my mouth and sank my teeth into the juiciest tender I've ever eaten. It was particularly crunchy, and I bit into what felt like a bone, and it slipped into the back of my throat. I began coughing hysterically until a bone came flying out of my mouth and onto the table.
That's a
I looked
finger.
at the bone and saw it looked like a human finger bone.
That's what
When I looked
said.
up at Sasha, who was smiling wickedly.
Want another bite?
Is that a finger bone?
I thought it would make some authentic KFC chicken.
Where'd you get the fingers? She grabbed the back of the chair I was tied to and dragged me back to the walk-in freezer. To my horror, there was Gabe, hanging like a pig that was just slaughtered. His arms and legs were dismembered and on the floor. The fingers were missing from his hand. I couldn't stop myself from doubling over and puking my guts out. You sick bitch!
Gabe had it coming, and we all knew that.
Gabe's one of my best friends. How could you do this? I thought he left.
Gabe came back. I didn't want him ruining my night, so I did something to make myself the permanent manager.
You killed someone, Sasha.
You killed someone, Sasha?
She mocked.
It's not my first time. And it won't be my last. Lucky for you, I let you live. I wanted you to be the first to taste tomorrow's menu.
I looked around wondering how the heck I could get out of this situation. Screw not hitting a girl. This bitch needed to go down. When she came close to me, I managed to stand on my feet with the chair attached to me, and I swung around. The legs of the chair knocked her legs out from under her, and she hit the ground hard, knocking her out instantly. I hobbled out, and with some leniency I had, I grabbed a knife and cut myself loose. I locked the freezer door and ran to the phone to call the police. Due to the horrific scene, the restaurant shut down permanently. Mom and I were heartbroken that our friend at our favorite place was murdered. Sasha went to prison, and though it's been months, I still can't wash the taste of Gabe's deep-fried finger out of my mouth.
You ate your boss. Whoa, slow down there. What? That was crazy, right? Right. They be cutting up at the KFC, don't they? I thought it was gonna be worse. It wasn't that bad, but that's okay. Thank you guys for joining me. Don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe, share if you want to. And I love you guys. Bye.